Hey everyone, Suri here, and welcome back to another week of Astra Season offense matches. I've been wanting to bring Dimitri into my offense teams after the Hero Rises banner, but I was having a bit too much fun with Guinevere and Zelgius last week, so he stayed on the bench. This week, I finally got a chance to let him shine. I ended up staying with plus attack for him, even though I did get a plus speed Dimitri right at the end for his last merge. The super asset actually translates into about 5 damage per hit, as long as he's using Atrocity, while the extra speed is a bit easier to go without or replace. He's actually reaching 68 combat speed with minimal effort this week, and combined with Plumeria's Sabotage, it's rare to find opponents that can actually dodge a full 40% damage reduction. Noontime is an excellent quick charging heal that lets him sustain through multiple combats, and distant counter is pretty self-explanatory for an AR Omni tank. Atrocity is the biggest reason to use Dimitri over other infantry tanks like Chris Merida, even his own Bravealt. Getting 25% of his attack as true damage on every swing is kind of ridiculous on its own, and having a Spectrum smoke effect with Pulse Smoke on top gives him a lot of flexibility in his C-slot options. I leaned into Atrocity pretty hard with this build, even opting for attack speed solo instead of speed res solo for his seal. While the extra damage is typically a bit overkill, and to be fair, the speed res version is probably better for him in Astra Seasons, being able to force his way through even the bulkiest green opponents is an extremely useful tool for him to have. Going forward, I'm definitely replacing Odd Tempest with Panic Smoke. While the extra movement is useful in some situations, I've been seeing a noticeable rise in visible buffs on defense teams. Just this week, 7 of my 8 offense matches featured visible buffs of some sort, and I do expect them to keep rising in popularity. The Mythic support squad is the same as usual, bringing a helpful combination of supporting skills to the team. I decided to use Furum for my last slot. While Lucina was really tempting, Isolation's just a very, very useful tool for manipulating the enemy AI. Now that we've gone over the builds, let's get to the first match. Alright, this one's going to be a fun way to start the week.
For the one I love.
We've got a plus 10 Nephenee. It's interesting to see her at max investment. I like Nephenee a lot in Path of Radiance and Radiant Dawn, so I've also got a plus 10 Eliwood. Business as usual there. And a plus 8 Mia, who is also carrying a pre-charged Luna thanks to this infantry pulse from Nephenee. I've also got Thracier, and Olivia, and Mirabilis. It's a pretty solid setup, honestly. It's hard to actually attack into Nephenee and Mia because these damage reduction skills make them really bulky unless you can actually beat their speed checks. With that said, I am expecting Dimitri to clean this out pretty easily, and the biggest issue here is just making sure we pick both of these pots up before everything else dies. Okay. Yep. So, picking these pots up is made a lot easier thanks to Reagan and Kanto.
Careful. I'll do it. What is your desire? Let's
So
find
Fjorm can
happiness.
pick this up,
Over here?
then we can pull her out of range, and have Reagan also retreat.
Consider it done.
I'll comply.
You have my
And then
trust.
we can
Yeah.
have Reagan go break this Dark Shrine and retreat again.
Close your eyes. I love you. It will be done.
I am going to be having Fjorm isolate Eliwood, specifically to make sure he doesn't rally. I'd rather avoid that complication. And sadly, I am going to have to wait one more turn for this.
Careful. I won't lose.
Just because I do need Plumeria to get onto this spot before we start.
Yes.
Why not?
Yes.
With utter certainty.
Okay. And now...
Your orders.
Yeah.
It will be done.
Smite him forward, and he should be able to wipe this Mia out.
Yes.
I'll do
And
it.
we're not actually going to knock Thracer out
I'll
here.
comply.
We're going to break this Bright Shrine instead. If it was still active, it would hit Dimitri for -8 to attack and speed, and combined with Mirabille's weapon, that might complicate things when we're dealing with Elliewood, so...
Consider it done.
Let's find happiness.
And from here, he should actually just clean this out in one round.
On my honor.
Thracer can get some damage in. She's a green mage.
Don't let them retreat.
But it's not really enough to make a dent.
It's our chance to prevail.
Yep. Wow. Yeah, Atrocity is... it does a lot of work.
On my honor.
Well, I'd say that's a pretty successful first round for Dimitri. Let's see what we get tomorrow. So this one's a neat way to continue the week.
To prevail.
I'm not expecting to have many problems with this, but quad mythic setups end up donating a lot of stats to the other 3 units. They've got Ceres and Duma. This Fortress Def Res and Special Fighter set is a neat idea for him. And they've got the bonus weak Leaf, and a Thracier. And my initial thought for solving this easily was to isolate Loki so she wouldn't be able to restore, but she's got a lot of health. Got the Azura and an Ophelia. Something else I noticed about this is just... I don't think it's too relevant at the moment, but in the future, Wings of Light might end up being a very, very useful skill once we actually have some anima mythics that are really solid. I don't think we're there yet, but at some point. It's kind of a nice thing that Ceres isn't in Dark Seasons, because Bramamond with that buff would be
Your
a
orders.
little bit spooky.
Yeah. I'll do it.
Yes.
You have my trust.
I love
Okay.
you.
Okay, looks like she'll be restoring Thracier, at least for now.
Over here?
It will be done.
Yes.
Well, goodbye, Ceres. And then we'll
Close
dance
your
him
eyes.
forward,
Your
and he
orders.
can choke the point and bring down their dancer.
Don't let them retreat.
Also get himself to full health. It's very useful.
With utter
I'm also going to
certainty.
break this
Careful, careful.
Bright Shrine just to make sure we don't have to worry about that for debuffs. Okay. This ends up defeating the purpose of that restore. Since Atrocity just gets reapplied. Thracier looks like she does a chunk, but Dimitri outspeeds her.
We will not lose.
By a lot.
It's our chance to prevail.
And down goes Ophelia. I'm going to actually need to pull back a little bit. We still need this last pot, so...
Why not?
Your orders.
What I'll do is I'll try to just bait Loki forwards. I don't think she's going to attack instead of using Restore,
Let's
because
find
she has the option to use Restore instead.
Consider it done.
I love you.
But I do need this pot, so...
I won't lose.
What is your desire?
Oh, and he's going the wrong way. How rude. Okay, I don't know why I didn't just trust my AI knowledge for that last turn. We're just going to bait him forward here.
Careful, careful.
Loki can restore him, and then we'll just finish the match after that. Uh-oh.
We will not lose.
Why didn't she restore him? Ah, well, I guess we missed a pot.
We will not lose.
Darn it, Loki. You're supposed to clear his debuffs off. Oh well, I guess that just means I can't miss another one this week. So, I actually had a bit of a penny drop moment right after I finished recording that last match, where I realized that I had Fiora isolate the leaf by accident, honestly, and hadn't even thought about it.
Careful,
So,
careful.
a little bit of an awkward slip-up. Hopefully I don't have that happen again. This'll be an interesting match. They brought along a +10 Flame Emperor, a +10 Cecilia, Zephyrin, Hector, Duma, and +10 Effie. I'm not actually inspecting these the way I should be, sorry. And also Sarah's. I'm not quite sure why they locked Sarah's behind a wall. She doesn't even have Wings of Mercy, so there's no way for anything to really happen there. But it is a pretty effective armor stall wall. This 10 and Baton is actually very, very good at just shutting down specials that might usually be able to crack these open, and the fact that every single one of them is running Wary Fighter can make them really obnoxious to break through. With that said, I don't think Dimitri's going to have too much trouble with this, although he's not going to be able to one-shot all of them. They are a little bit too bulky for that. So I'm going to take the first turn just to get in position.
Close your eyes.
I'll comply.
And thankfully, since there's no march or any sort of mobility on this team at all, we can actually get pretty close to this just to start things off. I'm also going to make sure that Fjorm is isolating a Zephyrin so that he doesn't actually restore anything.
It will be done.
I'll do it. Yeah.
You have my trust.
What is your desire?
And between effective damage and atrocity, Dimitri should have no problems dealing with Duma. It's also pretty important that we're going into this on the second turn, because it means that Sephiron's on recovery doesn't actually clear all of the debuffs from Atrocity.
Why not?
Your orders.
And this attack looks a little odd because I'm not actually knocking Hector out here, but it does mean that he's going to fall on the second turn, even with the healing tower. Or on the second combat.
It's our chance to prevail.
And, I mean, it's not like Hector's actually getting any damage done. I'll leave Reagan up there to refresh his buffs next turn, and we can pick up this first pot.
With utter certainty.
And while we aren't quite going to knock everything out here in one hit, that's okay, because Dimitri's not really taking any damage from this anyway. And we get most of them.
We will not lose.
I'm kind of surprised that Cecilia didn't attack earlier,
On my honor.
since she'd apply the dagger debuff and possibly let some of her teammates actually do some damage. But that's okay. And then with the bolt tower softening them up, it's just, yeah, very easy to clean up from here.
Close your eyes.
Yes.
You have my trust.
Yes.
Careful, careful. Yeah.
And we even get to give him his effective first dragon's bonus
Over here?
to clean things up.
It will be done.
I'll comply.
Oh, I'll do it.
Your orders.
And down goes Saros.
It's our chance to prevail.
That went pretty well. On to the next one. This is going to be a fun little match, I think.
I won't lose.
I haven't seen someone quite this fond of Leaf before. And they've got two different duo Leafs, and a bonus week normal Leaf. It's duo Alm as well, a Saros, an Edelgard, and a Mirabilis. I think this feels a little bit like an overcommitment to keeping this duo's hindrance active. Which, while it is important to deal with Linja, I don't know if stacking this much red as your threat is a good idea overall. Oh, come on. Okay. So I'm going to take the first few turns just to make sure I break this Dark Shrine. With the way I'm approaching this, it would hit Dimitri,
Yes.
and well, I don't need that on top of Mirabilis' debuffs, so I'm just making sure I don't have to worry about it.
Let's find happiness. Close your eyes.
What is your desire?
With utter certainty.
And thanks to Kento and
I
a
love
ranged flyer, we can actually break
Over
that
here?
and retreat.
Why not? I won't lose.
Okay. And one more turn of repositioning. We'll be ready to start this.
Yeah. Oh, I'll do it.
Move Reagan back
Over
down.
here?
healer moves down.
Careful.
I'm making sure to isolate Edelgard here. There's a chance
I'll
that she
comply.
might not be able to do enough damage to avoid rallying, and I'd really rather make sure that she attacks Dimitri this next turn.
It will be done.
Consider it done.
Let's find happiness.
Yes.
So assuming I've figured this out
We
properly,
won't lose.
Dimitri should be fine here, even though these leaves are cutting down his damage reduction. He has a lot of advantages just thanks to the triangle.
I'll comply.
Close your eyes.
Yes.
And let's see if we can actually pick this one off. I'm expecting this to be a heavy trap, but it shouldn't matter. Oh, and it's not. Well, that makes everything much easier. Alright. I'm gonna leave Altina over here. I'm planning to use her to help get this Aether pot after this turn. So hopefully Alm goes and chases Dimitri instead. We don't actually get to heal here,
It's our chance to prevail.
but it shouldn't matter too much. Because that was the last source of Fatal Smoke.
On my honor. It's our chance to prevail.
And that 20 damage actually makes the rest of this much easier to clean up as well.
Don't let them retreat.
That's about the only major problem with using Leaf is, well, you do run into that problem where he hits his allies, so if they don't secure the knockouts, you end up in a much worse defensive spot. Right, I did have to think a little bit about how to handle this, just because we do still need to pick these pots up, but I think I've figured it out.
Your orders.
Why not?
Even though I'm giving up the solo skill on Dimitri
Yes.
here, he shouldn't have any problems dealing with Alm.
What is your desire?
And this also means that I'm going to give him effective damage for the next turn to deal with
With utter
Ceres,
certainty.
Careful. Careful.
and also be able to pick up both pots.
It's our chance to prevail.
Yep, there we go.
Yes.
You have my trust.
Let's find happiness. Close your eyes.
Your orders.
And down goes Ceres. That one was a bit tricky to set up.
Don't let them retreat.
It was fun though. Guess I'll see what we get next time. This is going to be a very fun match, actually.
It's our chance to
And
prevail.
clearing out Dimitri actually feels really appropriate for once. They brought along a +10 Nemesis, who's just very impressive at this level of investment. Honestly, I'm not expecting Dimitri to have problems with him, but I think normally he actually is extremely deceptively hard to kill, just because of that damage reduction. And having 6 allies for him to activate it with helps a lot. The +10 Edelgard with Farsave is very good at just helping to protect these mages especially, and Nemesis too, since he's not running distant counter. They also have a +3 Ophelia, who's pretty standard Ophelia. A Micaiah, who's got a pre-charged Ruptured Sky, thanks to Nemesis, who's also helping Ophelia out, but she doesn't really need it. Not with 2 other mages on the team. And Duo Peony is always useful. And they've got their bonus weak leaf and a +1 Cirrus as well. So, I don't think I'm going to have too much of a problem with this one, assuming I've done my math properly. I'm making sure to start by isolating Peony. While I don't think she'll move forward to dance Nemesis, there's no reason to take that risk if I don't have to.
Careful, careful. Oh, I'll do it. I love you.
Your orders.
It will be done.
Over here?
You have my trust.
Okay. And we should be able to go in on the second turn.
Yeah.
With utter certainty.
Careful, careful.
Mostly just because Furum can actually break this shrine safely, since none of the ranged can actually reach that spot.
Yes.
And the only one we're going to knock out here is Ophelia.
I'll comply.
Oh wait, I forgot to give him +6s. He should still be okay, I think. It's just... Yeah, he's still got more than enough damage to deal with Nemesis.
Yes.
Yeah, good. Alright then. This also disables the specials, for Micaiah at least. It makes it a little bit easier. I hope I don't regret that. I think we'll be okay.
Yes.
Edelgard should move in first, since she actually gets to do a pretty significant amount of damage.
It's our chance to prevail.
But
No mercy.
she can't quite finish Dimitri off,
On my honor.
or really drop him to a dangerous health level. And she's really the only one on the team who can threaten him outright.
We will not lose.
Nemesis is attacking here just because he's the only one who doesn't actually heal Dimitri at this point.
On my honor. Ha! Don't let them retreat.
Okay. So thankfully I didn't end up regretting that smite.
Let's
And from
find
here
out
we just
this.
pick these pots up.
Your orders.
What is your desire?
And finish the match from there.
Close your eyes.
I'll comply.
That one, honestly, was really intimidating at first glance, and... well, I don't think it's a bad defense at all, it's just Dimitri's pretty good at declaring it. On to the next one. This is going to be an interesting match. I think I've done my math correctly, and I think I've figured out the AI properly as well. But there is a chance this doesn't go so well. A lot of the reason for that is this Dedu, who is in his bonus week and really, really solid. Bullfighter Bonfire lets him do a lot of work, especially when you pair him with this far-safe Hector. You're also backed up by a Thracier, who's getting some extra benefits from Ceros. And of course, this Xander. He's very impressive, honestly, for a Xander. And Athena, who's just actually running double tactics for their armor line, and a Mirabilis with ground orders. This chill attack is very annoying. Almost as annoying as these two shrines that are lurking in the back that we can't get to, which means that Dimitri is going to be soaking them. which is also a large part of why I'm questioning how well this is going to go. But I think I've figured it out properly. I'm going to wait a turn just in case the AI doesn't like Odd Tempest. This is a map that actually has me really wanting to give him Panic Smoke instead.
Let's find happiness. Close your eyes. Careful, careful. I won't lose.
Consider it done.
Okay. And then we wait for the second turn. I'm going to pull Altina back here. This is mostly just to make sure that Fina doesn't end up dancing from this tile. I'm trying to force her into this column so that Fjorm can isolate her for the next turn.
It will be done.
Your orders.
Why not?
Alright. So to start with, Thracier should move in and do a solid chunk of damage.
We will not lose.
But importantly, this actually debuffs Saros for her combat here. Which makes it much easier for Dimitri to finish her off without taking too much damage.
It's our chance to prevail.
And now Hector... Oh. Shucks. Okay. This still works out pretty well, especially since I got to isolate both dancers over on this side. Alright, I did have to take a step back and just think about this for a little bit. Even though we've isolated both of these dancers, I still need to be careful of Dedu. I don't want him getting onto Dimitri this turn. I'd rather make sure Dimitri can actually engage on his own terms. And while we are going to tank Hector, Hector's entire weapon is actually disabled against Dimitri until Dimitri is fully healed, which he's not going to get. So, what should happen here
Yes.
is we get Dimitri rebuffed.
You have my trust.
Yeah.
Dance him forward.
I'll comply.
And what should happen here is that we tank Hector, and Hector gets himself knocked out, and ideally we'll also get to isolate Xander afterwards. There's the rally and the dance. Perfect.
It's our chance to prevail. Prepare to die.
Not today.
We will not lose.
And now, because the dancers can't dance or get rallied, they just filter in.
It's our chance to prevail. Don't let them retreat.
Alright.
Over here?
So what I'm going to do
Yes.
is we can just flip Reagan.
I won't
We can
lose.
break this. We're going to
Close
dance
your
Dimitri,
eyes.
What is
smite
your
him for
desire?
his buffs, and move him up here. Nope, let's heal him
I
first,
love you.
just for the extra 9 hit points.
Your orders.
Consider it done.
Now, even though we are giving Dedu a bonfire here, it's not actually going to be enough to knock Dimitri out,
On my honor.
partly because of the noontime,
Break you. Don't let them retreat.
and partly because of Ariadbar's damage reduction. Alright. That was a fun one.
Certainty.
Yes. Don't let them retreat.
Even if it's a little bit heartbreaking to do it against Dimitri, but it's okay. They'll get back together again at some point. Alright, on to the next one. So, this is a bit of an odd one. It's a rematch, and I had my eye on it since earlier because of this very highly merged Leaf, who's also in his bonus week. Unfortunately, the team as a whole is odd, to say the least. This plus 10 Leaf is really, really impressive, but I don't understand the plus HP seal. And, I mean, Kanigas has one too. He's also plus 7, and he's running Slick Fighter 1, which I guess is just from the far save. It's an afterthought. He also got a plus 7 Duma, and a plus 7 Lyn. Cerberus and Zephyrin are unmerged, but it's still a triple mythic team, which makes Kanigas and Leaf very, very solid. On the other hand, the setup is not... It's odd. I feel like this team could be really, really threatening with a little bit more effort. But, I guess at this point they just have enough merges on their defense mythics, and especially since Leaf is a bonus defense mythic, they don't care much.
I'll do it. I won't lose.
That's a guess, at least.
Yes.
I can't say for sure, of course,
Consider
but
it done.
What is your desire?
I love
I'm
you.
not really expecting to have too many problems with this.
Over here?
Yes.
Dimitri should be able to knock Leaf out, since her solo isn't active. Even the lull isn't enough to stop her from getting double.
On my honor.
And while we don't really get to heal much here,
Close your
it shouldn't
eyes.
matter. Out of the rest of the team, only Duma and Cerberus can really do damage to him. And we're knocking Doom out before he gets a chance to do anything.
Let's find happiness.
With utter certainty.
Cerberus moves in to start, but she's not going to survive this fight.
Don't let them retreat.
It also means that she doesn't get to give Wings of Light to Leaf. Which makes this even more one-sided than it was before. And now we just need to make sure the pots get picked up before we finish the match. Shouldn't be hard.
I love you. Yeah.
You have my trust.
Lyn is actually going to unshift, and since Zephyrin isn't using a Dazzling Refine, or any Refine for that matter, we can just bait him forward into Dimitri next turn.
I'll comply.
Why not?
Your orders.
It will be done.
Assuming he doesn't spend all of his time healing, but after the dance he should move forward.
Don't let them retreat.
And now we just pick up the last
I
pot
won't lose.
and close out the match.
Yes.
I'll do it.
I'll comply.
Alright, on to hopefully the last match of the week. So, this is going to be a very fun way to finish the week, assuming I've figured this out properly, which I'm pretty sure I have. I also want to say that this would be much easier to clear with Kranya. A lot of the problems with this one actually just come from the fact that this catapult isn't a high enough level to break my bolt tower. And while that doesn't sound like a problem at first, Dimitri really relies on noontime to keep himself healthy. And since this is hitting their entire team, and they have no healing tower, it means that once this bolt tower activates, he can't really heal at all. And that's a problem when you're looking at things like a +10 Reinhardt with low attack res. They've also got a +10 Firesweep Lyn with a lull as well. They're also both using Hone Cavalry, which gives them a significant power boost, as long as there's no panic effect involved. I'm definitely giving Dimitri panic smoke after this. Week is done. They've also got a +10 Thracier and a +10 Ninian. Their dancers, even though Azura's their bonus unit, their dancers are all running drives and spurs for attack, which can really catch people off guard if they're not planning for it, because it adds up a lot, especially for someone like Reinhardt. We've also got Ceros, Azura, Herbilis. This is going to be... I've said this already, but this is going to be an interesting way to finish the week. I need to break this Bright Shrine on the first turn, and start the fight on the second turn, just, again, to avoid this bolt tower actually activating. And it's doable, it's just going to be very tight on movement.
Yes.
Naga can fly her formation over here. We reposition her out.
Over
Reagan
here?
moves here, and we can dance
I'll do
her,
it.
which lets her
Yeah.
Kanto to break the Bright Shrine and get back out.
Your orders.
Dimitri's gonna get his Dragon Effectiveness,
Careful,
and Fjorm is going to isolate Mirabilis. Not being able to break this Dark Shrine is a large part of why this is going to get very close for Dimitri.
With utter certainty.
Over here?
What is your
Smite him
desire?
onto the trap, which is real, as expected,
Yes.
but that's not going to stop us. And then we can dance him forward.
Why not?
And I'm not actually going to knock out Ninian here, because Ninian can
I'll
do
comply.
damage to Dimitri, which is important because it means she's not going to dance for Lyn. And Azura should have just enough attack
Don't let them retreat.
to hit the same condition, which means that this actually ends up healing Dimitri after Lyn attacks, and gives him enough health to survive Reinhardt. I'm going to leave Fjorm here. I kind of hope that she'll be able to bait Mirabilis forward. And let's see if I figured this out properly.
Don't let them retreat.
Down. 2 down.
We will not lose.
And down goes Reinhardt.
We will not lose.
Good, and we even baited Mirabilis. Well, this went very well.
Your orders.
Close your eyes.
Actually, I don't even have to worry about that, because this is not a real trap.
I won't lose.
I'll comply.
And we can just have Dimitri pick this pot up and end the week. Ooh, that's a satisfying clear.
We will not lose.
Very nice. Oh. Bit of a sigh of relief there at the end. I'm glad that worked out and I planned it properly. This was a good week overall. I was a bit worried, honestly, for Dimitri in Astra season. I think he'll do a lot better in a light week. Just because between Dogger and Air, he'll get a lot of extra base res. That makes all of the magical threats a lot less threatening to him. But he did really well overall. I'm glad to see it. He might show up again next week too. I am very interested to see how he'll do in a light week, but it'll probably be more Ashnard focused overall. So, I hope you've enjoyed the video. Good luck with your own matches, and I'll see you next time.